Hello, this is Ainsley.
Hello, and this is Anna.
And we are the Association of Exiled Scots.
And for short, TAoES. And as an organisation, we present contemporary creative culture through events,
production, our music school,
and of course, TAoES attire.
So welcome to The Tradition with TAoES, a whistle-stop tour of some of our favourite parts of Scottish culture.
Now, a little bit of a disclaimer, we can't possibly cover all of the tradition in the short amount of time that we're going to be with you, as our Scottish tradition is so rich, and we of course are just going to pick our favourite bits to present to you. Now, if you're interested in more, please feel free to email us.
Contact at taoes.co.uk. Well, let's get cracking.
So we're going to kick off with a song from myself called Yedich me moch matin héitchen. I rose early one May morning, and I'm accompanied by Alistair Patterson on the piano. And the song is really just about the rise of the Gaelic language, and it's very, very catchy. It's got a really good chorus, and of course it's a walking song, not the kind of song that you sing when you go for a walk, but of course when all the ladies in the village would get together to walk the cloth, or as we would call it, tweed. And it was quite a big thing to get asked to come and be part of a walking. You felt quite important if you were asked along, and really all the ladies in the village would sit around a huge wooden table and basically beat sodden cloth on it until it dried out, and it would take 4 or 5 hours for the cloth to shrink in and be ready for use. So it was actually a huge undertaking, and to pass the time, these women sang these wonderful songs, and you would have a soloist and they would take it in turns working around the table, and they would all sing the chorus together. And actually the tradition passed over to Canada, and a lot of men would do walkings as well, so we're very much inclusive in the walking wherever you go, and do join in. This is Yedich me moch matin héitchen.
Yedich mi moch matin héitchen valilelio, hura vosna horo ela valilelio, chua mishe skeva evin valilelio, hura vosna horo ela valilelio, kunra gashki yesereri valilelio, hura vosna horo ela valilelio. Behan kanch na fenja valilelio, jure vosna horo ela valilelio, hayat grønning kjaune hele valilelio, jure vosna horo ela valilelio, hustjet grønn kalen fenal valilelio, jure vosna horo ela valilelio, jure vosna horo ela valilelio. Hansen skal kommer i bjørn valilelio, hura vosna horo ela valilelio, skitten denja er ein fingøyn valilelio, hura vosna horo ela valilelio, frischal Macintosh i blæsta valilelio, hura vosna horo ela valilelio, dokavlanya kagesheshka valilelio, hura vos na horo ela valilelio Artigere kusna spiren valilelio Jure vos na horo ela valilelio Lishna gels kachatchen chiche valilelio Jure vos na horo ela valilelio Jure vos na horo ela valilelio
Well, Ainsley, that was bra. Thank you. Cheers. So we're going to continue now with a song that I'm going to sing for you called The 51st Division's Farewell to Sicily. It's a catchy title. The words are written by Hamill Henderson to a tune by Pipe Major James Robertson called Farewell to the Creeks. Now, Hamill Henderson is a giant of a figure in Scottish folklore. He is very well known for his efforts during the war, and he's also really well known as a song collector. When he came home after the war, he went out and about all around Scotland collecting songs, most of which are now available through the School of Scottish Studies.
That is located at Edinburgh University, and actually a lot of the recordings are now digitised and are available online at Toper and Dolchish or the Kister Riches.
And what's really interesting about a lot of the songs collected at this time is they can't all be digitalised.
No, and that's actually very interesting because they were originally recorded on wax cylinder, and every time a wax cylinder is played, it disintegrates slightly. So School of Scottish Studies are under a little bit of pressure to forever capture these recordings digitally, but they need to do it in such a manner that they're not going to ruin the wax cylinder, and also they need to do it in a timely manner to make sure that the wax cylinder doesn't disintegrate enough and they capture it.
So Hamill Henderson is an incredibly interesting figure within the Scottish folklore community, and we would definitely urge you to find out more about him. And here is a taster of one of the songs that he wrote.
The pipey is dozy, the pipey is fey. He would make him run for his vino that day. The sky over Mesna is uncool and grey, and all the brick charmers are eerie. Farewell, ye banks o' Sicily, farewell, ye valleys and shores. Nae jog will mourn the Kyles o' ye, poor bloody squaddies are weary. Farewell, ye banks o' Sicily, farewell, ye valleys and shores. Nane can smear the wiles o' ye, poor bloody squaddies are weary. Then down the stairs and line the waterside, wait your turn, the ferries are war. Then down the stairs and line the waterside, all the brick charmers are eerie. The drummy is polished, the drummy is broad. He canna be seen for his webbing or war. He's beefed himself up for a boaty and all, to leave with his Lola his dearie. Farewell, ye drives o' Sicily, farewell, ye Sheelans and Hall. We'll all mind the sheepens and bothies were kind, señoritas were cheery. Farewell, ye banks o' Sicily, farewell, ye Sheelans and Hall. We'll all mind those sheepens and bothies were jock, made that date wi' his dearie. Then chin the pipes and drop the tenor drum, leave your kit the side o' the wall. Then chin the pipes and drop the tenor drum, all the brick charmers are eerie.
So next we're going to see some step dancing from Ainsley.
So Scottish step dancing obviously has origins in Scotland, but unfortunately it nearly died out in Scotland and was taken over to Canada, where the tradition became incredibly strong, especially in Cape Breton, and now the tradition has worked its way back to Scotland and is stronger than ever, with a lot of predominant step dance figures performing all over the world.
So I was really inspired to learn step dancing, and I've been learning through our online classes that Ainsley teaches. So the dance that Ainsley is about to do, I can now also do at half the speed.
Yeah. So our step dancing classes are actually now on a Monday night at 7 p.m, and it's super easy to take part. We just send you a link and you click the link and you can dance around your living room.
And it's really, really good fun.
Totally. And of course, the dance that you're going to see now is an arrangement of a tune by Barlua, a band that I'm part of, and we're going to be dancing to a tune called Rose Cottage by the wonderful Donald Shaw. So, Shuativ.
So Ainsley's away for a wee lie down after all that dancing. We're going to continue with a song by the national poet of Scotland, Rabbie Burns. Now there's been a lot said and a lot written about Mr. Rabbie Burns, but there's no doubting that he was at the forefront of human rights. He was a forerunner in many ways for Hamish Henderson, and that he was a vicarious song collector, and his words were beautiful. And we're going to move on with one of my favourites of his, My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose. This particular arrangement was done for a Burns night in Iraq back in 2014. And Ainsley and I often talk about how January is like Christmas for Scottish musicians, because it's all Burns nights. So we owe a great debt of gratitude to Mr. Rabbie Burns for all of his work, and for the Scottish community for keeping it going. And we love a good Burns night. We love a good haggis supper.
My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love is like the melody so sweetly played in tune. As fair art thou, my bonny lass, stay deep in love among, and I will as fair art thou, my bonny lass. Fare thee weel for just a while, and I will come again, my dear, though it were 10,000 miles, for my love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love is like the melody so sweetly played in tune. As fair art thou, my bonny lass. Fare thee weel for just a while, and I will come again, my dear, though it were 10,000 miles. Fare thee weel, my bonny lass. Fare thee weel for just a while, and I will come again, my dear, though it were 10,000 miles. For my love is like a red, red rose.
Well, we really hope you've enjoyed the singing and the dancing today. Just to finish with, we put out an ask across all of our social media channels to see if anyone had any questions about the tradition they'd like us to answer.
So we're going to do a really quick fire question round to finish off for today.
So the first question was, why do you have a unicorn as your logo?
Now, we have the unicorn as our logo because it's the national animal of Scotland, and very interestingly, it has been a long-standing symbol for purity and power.
So the nobility of Scotland were really keen to be aligned with that, so it's not that surprising that they took it on, and it was King Robert in the 1300s that officially adopted it. So really we're just continuing the work of King Robert.
Absolutely. Our next question is, what are the best resources to learn about the Scottish tradition?
Now, this is actually a much bigger question than it seems, because Scotland is so rich in its culture and its language and its songs that there's numerous different resources that cover different aspects of it.
Mm-hmm. So we basically just picked some of our favourites to cover massive categories. Now, the National Library of Scotland have got an amazing online resource, and of course the School of Scottish Studies that you can visit in person and access lots of amazing and very interesting materials and listen to recordings. You can also get that online at Kisteriches or Toperin Dolchish. And for Gaelic resources, we love learngaelic.net, and it's got a particularly good online dictionary service, which is very helpful, and you can also do lots of different games, and it's got lots of learning resources. And of course for the Scots language, the Scots Language Centre is an excellent resource that can also be accessed online.
We're really lucky in Scotland in that so many of the people that were involved in the tradition have written it down or have made sure that the oral tradition has passed things on, and now we're reaping the rewards of that. So there's plenty out there. It's just having a look at which one you particularly are interested in.
Mm-hmm. I think we could go on for a while about some
Gaelic
song collections, some Scots song collections, but we won't do that. If you want to know more, email us.
contact@taoes.co.uk.
That's the one.
So our last question is very October specific. We were asked, is Halloween different in Scotland?
Yes, it certainly is. We actually celebrate something called Samhain, which actually Halloween is taken from, meaning summer's end. And it's all a little bit spooky. It's when the veil between the living and the dead gets incredibly thin, and it's said that spirits are meant to walk amongst us.
And someone who talks about that a lot is Robert Burns. He's got a poem called Halloween, but perhaps the most famous poem that he has that describes this thinning of the veil is Tam O'Shanter, when Tam drunkenly stumbles into essentially the devil's party and makes himself known, unfortunately, for him. And one of the other big differences that we have is that we don't traditionally carve pumpkins, we carve
Tumshies,
which are
turnips. So everybody, we have come to the end of the tradition with TAoES. We hope you've enjoyed yourself and enjoyed listening to the music.
If you do have any more questions for us, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook or Instagram, so just pop your question on there and we'll be sure to get back to you.
Yeah, and if you want to learn any more about us, just pop on to the Association of ExiledScots.com.
We're always looking to expand our community, so we would love to hear from you.
So for now, cheery!